Ladies and gentlemen, today I'm going to talk to you about Rana Plaza and alternatives to mass-produced clothing. On the 23rd of April 2013, there was a disaster in Bangladesh. I'm sure that most people have already heard of this, but what actually happened is more on the 24th of April, but it all began on the 23rd. So on the 23rd of April 2013, cracks were spotted in a huge industry building in Bangladesh. This is a building where a lot of clothes are produced, and all of these cracks started appearing in the walls. This was spotted by some concerned workers, and the building was closed. Then, the same day, the owner came to inspect the building, and he decided that it was perfectly safe, so the building was reopened. And in fact, workers who refused to return to the building were told that if they did not go back to work, they would not be paid. Then, on the 24th of April 2013, the building collapsed, with over 3,000 workers inside. After the collapse, the end figure was that 1,134 of the workers had died. Over half of the original 3,000 workers were women, but not only women, there were also children, because there was a nursery inside to help the workers work longer hours. Rana Plaza was originally built to house shops, not to be a factory. But this building had been reused after the owner had decided that it would be safe to do so as a clothes factory. So you can imagine the heavy machinery that was required inside the building to produce clothes. The fact that this building was not originally meant to be a factory meant that the floors themselves were not strong enough to hold these machines. And the owner of the building didn't care. He just wanted to make money. He was producing clothes for Mango, Accessorize, Primark, Zara, Benetton, lots of other really well-known clothes companies. And all of these companies wanted the clothes produced quickly. But when you want things this fast, there's always a cost. There are shortcuts that were taken, there was a complete disregard for safety, and none of the workers were receiving fair wages. The owner of the building, who I keep mentioning, was called Sohail Rana, so that's why the building was called the Rana Plaza. And after the collapse on the 24th of April, he went into hiding because he obviously knew that he had part of the responsibility for what had happened. But he was arrested on the 28th of April 2013, so just 4 days later, and he, along with 18 others, were charged for their actions and their responsibility in not ensuring that workers were working in safe conditions. 17 days later, the rescue operation was still underway, and one woman was actually found alive. She'd survived in the building this whole time in the rubble. Overall, 2,500 factory workers were injured. So after these events that were talked about widely, everybody has probably heard about this, it was on the news, and there have been protests even 10 years, oh no, it's not 10 years ago, there have been protests like 5 years after the event. There's even been a Netflix documentary that some of you may have seen. It came out in 2015. And it's called The True Cost. This documentary is really interesting if you want to know more about what led to all the events of the building collapse and what else you can do. So talking about what else you can do, here are a few ideas if you want to move away from fast fashion to help avoid this kind of incident reoccurring. You can follow a campaign that's run by the Fashion Revolution Week. This happens every year from the 22nd to the 28th of April. It's quite a key date that they've chosen, obviously. And they have a hashtag campaign, hashtag Who Made My Clothes. And what you can do during the specific week of the year is you can tag the clothes company where you bought your clothes, and you can put hashtag who made my clothes, and the companies are supposed to try and respond telling you where they actually source their products from. This is a call for a more sustainable supply chain. As well as this, you can try to buy traceable cotton, for example. There's also another really interesting Netflix documentary about where cotton comes from and about cotton in Ukraine and lots of other types of cotton production. But perhaps that's not for you. Perhaps you're feeling a bit more creative. And so instead of buying new clothes, why not try buying old clothes and making them into something new? I personally am a big fan of a YouTube channel called Thrifted Transformations, and this is a girl who goes to a thrift store, or what I would call a charity shop, and she buys random clothes and makes them into something new. And this is something that I've started doing. This summer I went to an Emmaus salon in Paris, and I bought a lot of clothes for 10 euros. I think I got about 30 items, and I've been chopping everything up, resizing and making lots of new clothes out of this for friends and for myself. And I think that it's a fairer way to shop, and it's also nice to have things that you've made that are exactly your size. So if you are interested in this, you can follow the YouTube channels, you can learn to sew. And one other idea before I finish my speech is also to try to cut down on the amount of clothes that you have to start with. I'm not suggesting that you go completely Marie Kondo and get rid of everything, but you can look at the idea of a capsule wardrobe. This idea was actually coined by Susie Fox in the 1970s, and the idea is that essentially you just have a few key pieces that go with everything, that work for every occasion, and then you just have a couple of seasonal items that you add to your wardrobe. So if you're interested in this, I would like to set you the challenge of cutting down your wardrobe to 9 tops, 5 bottoms, 5 pairs of shoes. That's all you're allowed. And if you buy anything new, it must match 3 existing outfits that you've created. And if you really want to go a step further, you can do the 1 in, 1 out rule. So if you add something new, you have to get rid of something else. I personally would be completely incapable of doing this, but at least I have adopted the KonMari method, and I file folded all my clothes so I could fit in all the new stuff I bought from the Emmaus salon. So I hope that this speech has sparked some joy for you, and that you'll want to cut down your wardrobe and try to stop buying clothes that support things like what happened in Rana Plaza. Thank you.
I just asked you, when you said